But I do actually want to ask this, because you brought up toxic masculinity. What is that?
I would like to describe it this way. I'm a very strong believer in the fact that men and women, they really need each other, that we need to harmonize the overall relationship between each other as genders. As to the toxic masculinity or femininity, I believe that both of the terms are about this or that gender trying to bring another one down in this or that way. In short, I would just describe it this way.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to go around the table on this.
Wait. Brian, I'm sorry. I have to interject just very brief. That literally told us nothing. That didn't tell us anything about what toxic masculinity is. You just said that you're a complementarian and you think that men and women need to complement each other. That does not tell us what toxic masculinity is, though.
Did you hear the last statement I said?
What's the last statement you said?
I said that either toxic masculinity or femininity is about one gender bringing another one down by any shape or form. Do you agree or no?
Okay, but bringing them down how?
Check the comments that were sent. This is what bringing another gender down is about for me.
I saw individuals being targeted in those comments, not genders of people. I saw individuals who were being addressed, not genders. Did you see somebody say all women or women X, or did you see individuals being addressed?
Individuals were being addressed, but would those people address those individuals the same way if they were male, for example?
Well,
they
so
were
now
doing
that's
the
an assumption, right?
Huh?
So that would be toxic femininity, wouldn't it? Because the example there is that you're bringing down the entirety of men who are making those comments, and by literally making the false assumption that they're only doing that because you're women and not because they're addressing you, the woman, specifically what you said. Wouldn't you be engaging in toxic femininity by your own standard because you're judging men collectively based off of commenters who addressed individuals?
That was a gesture of the toxic masculinity from a very specific individual, but I'm not generalizing and never have.
No, you are. You're saying that it's toxic masculinity, right? That they are literally talking to only individuals because you applied it to an entire gender. You said, no, I'm not going to apply it to individuals. I'm going to apply it to the entire gender. You're being toxic. So in other words, these people are engaging in toxic masculinity because they're collectively bringing women down. That's your claim. However, they only addressed individuals and not women collectively. So you would be engaging in toxic femininity by saying that, right?
All right, this is your perspective, but what exactly I meant by my statement is that specifically those comments that we saw that were given to this lady right here on the left, that was a gesture of the toxic masculinity for me, because such words as like, oh, Chinese girl, oh, engineer baby, those motherfuckers would not say it about the men doing OnlyFans and doing engineering
well, now you're
major.
You're generalizing and saying because they're women, X is happening. That would be a generalization about a gender, so therefore toxic femininity. Yes?
You definitely are reversing it in the way that resonates with you, but I don't believe that this is what I'm saying.
I mean, the way that it resonates with reality, you said if it's a generalization about a gender collectively against another, that would be toxic femininity or masculinity.
All right.
By you saying that women are being collectively assaulted, even though an individual is being addressed, that would be toxic femininity by your definition, right?
If the woman is bringing a man down, relying on his gender, this is a toxic femininity. If the man does the same thing, it's the toxic masculinity. That's all.
But if women are bringing down women, that would also be toxic femininity, right?
Of course, undeniably.
Yeah, okay, great. So then if that's the case, when you apply that a comment towards an individual is applied to all women, right, you're making a generalization about a gender, so that would be toxic femininity, right?
I don't understand at what point I used the generalization when I described the
You
action
say
of the
that-
person who
that
left the
these
comment.
people are only making the comments because they're women. Because they're women. So that person only made this comment because she's a woman. That's a generalization about women, right? You're only doing X because they're women, so that would be toxic femininity, right?
I don't see it that way. I would love to agree with you,
Well,
but I
mean,
don't
that's
see
like-
it this way.
I don't
No.
If it's just a generalization, a negative generalized stereotype about a gender, right? Then how is it not negative to apply what's said to an individual to an entire gender? So you're saying, he's not saying that to you, Tracy, let's say the fictitious name is Tracy. Tracy, he's not saying that to you because you suck. He's saying that to you because you're a woman. That's a generalization about a gender, therefore would be toxic femininity by your standard, right?
All right, let's put it this way. No problem.
Okay. I don't know how else to see it.
Would you agree that the same person who left that comment together with $200, that was impressive too for me personally, I don't know, would he say something similar if there was a guy here saying just the same things?
Well, see what you're doing there? So what you're doing is you're saying collectively, right, women are X and collectively men are X, right? So men are not going to make these comments if these are men over here, they're only going to make these comments if they're women. That is you making a general negative statement about men, therefore toxic femininity.
Nope, this is not about me making a statement about all the men. No, I'm talking about a very specific individual.
Well, if you say that men are not going to make these comments if there's other men there, they're only making the comments because there's women, that's a negative stereotype about men.
Okay, now I understand what you are getting at. No,
Well, yeah,
that
it's
was
a
not the
double-edged sword.
intention.
It cuts both ways, right?
Right. I hope you can just understand that I was talking about the personalities sharing those comments, and this is not about all the men. And there is not any man who would leave that comment. You know, not anybody male would do that. So I'm not talking about all the men. I'm talking about
Well, I
one
don't understand how you
person
could say
showing
that.
the toxic masculinity by trying
That
to
doesn't make any sense.
bring
You're
her
saying
down.
you're saying that it's only because they're men that they're saying this only because they're women. Yes? Because if they were not men and were women, they would not be saying that, correct?
That's not what I said. But I
Okay,
understand
so
your
I'll
point.
just ask you directly. If these men who made the comment, right, were women, do you think they would be making that comment?
They would still be able to make shitty comments, but
would
not
they?
in this
would
manner.
Would they be? Not could they? Would they?
They would be definitely, some of them at least, they would be similar to what we heard at the table when we were discussing it. There would be many, this is how I vision it, there would be females that would say, oh yeah, I hope your daddy's gonna find out and he will be embarrassed of you, and like, oh, you're a slut. It's gonna be
Then
also
how would
ugly.
then how would that be toxic masculinity?
That would be a toxic femininity. Are you talking about women right now?
No, how would it be toxic masculinity if you said that's toxic masculinity? Because if that were men, if that was a man sitting there instead of a woman,
Yeah.
they would not be making these comments, right?
They would make something else, and depends on who it's coming from. I would definitely state, okay, this is also toxic femininity or masculinity.
I need you guys to make your final points here on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not very clear on. So to me, it just seems like any general statement which is made about any gender is toxic femininity or masculinity. So you kind of lose both ways here. Because if you're making the claim that the chatter's only saying this because they're men, that would be toxic femininity. And if you're making the claim that the chatter is saying this to them only because they're women, that would also be toxic femininity. It would be a general statement either way.
I have no problem accepting your point. It was just
Okay.
not exactly what I was saying.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm clear on what you're saying.
All right.
All right, so, okay, let's get into some of the pre-show notes here. Going to Sylvie here from, how?
Silly.
Silly? Why is there a V in your name?
No, I don't have a V in my name.
Isn't it in your Instagram?
No, it's silly. VP.
VV?
VP.
Is there a V?
In my last name there is.
Okay, whatever. Why is you said why is monogamy, traditional life, the way to go?
Yes. So like 30, 40 years ago, it was the way to go. But now I see much more girls doing OnlyFans and like a lot of marriages, like they divorce a lot. So why should we still?
Are you monogamous with your current 2-year relationship?
Kind of.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean, kind of?
We do what we want, but we tell each other we are honest about it.
You're honest about it. So you sleep with other men?
No, I'm really bad at it. He can do what he wants, and I can do what I want, but we just suck at it.
What do you mean you suck at it?
Yeah, I don't sleep with other men.
What's that?
I don't sleep with other men.
But you can?
Yes.
And your boyfriend can sleep with other women?
Yes.
Has he?
No.
Okay, you guys have been together for 2 years. Has he slept with any other women?
No.
Have you slept with any other men?
No.
But so you have an open relationship, you're just really bad at it, using your own words.
Yes.
So I find this a bit difficult to believe. So you don't get hit on at all?
Yes, I do.
And you reject them?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
I don't have to.
Why do you reject them?
Because it doesn't click.
So you're saying there's not been any opportunity, you haven't found any one guy attractive?
Enough to go to bed with? Yeah.
Okay, but if an attractive enough man did...
Yes.
Okay.
Then
Are you on birth control?
Yes.
Okay. Would you have unprotected sex with a stranger?
No, probably not.
Probably not. Okay, but maybe. I'm assuming you have unprotected sex with your partner, though.
Yes.
Okay. He would have no issue with you sleeping with another woman.
He would.
Excuse me, another man.
Yeah. He would not have a problem with it if I'm honest. Yes.
Okay, and so if you saw him sleep with another woman, you wouldn't feel any type of way?
I don't want to see him like.
Okay, well let's say you didn't see it, but you knew that he slept with another woman.
He can do that, yeah.
No problem whatsoever.
It will hurt when he says it for like 5 minutes, but
for 5 minutes. Why would you open yourself up to this kind of hurt?
Because it's 5 minutes and I'm not perfect, so why should I?
Okay. And he's perfect? Totally fine. He'd be totally fine with you getting fucked by another man.
If I'm honest about it, yes.
Is this a cuck? Is he a cuck for this, or is it like an open relationship? And I don't know if it's cuck. I don't approve of it. But
it doesn't stimulate me to do it, but it's okay. It's better than cheating, right?
Do you want to get married?
No.
Do you want to have kids?
No.
Okay. Ever?
Yeah, never.
Okay. No kids. Well, I mean, do you think he's ever lied to you that maybe he has hooked up with a chick, but he just never told you?
No, I don't think so.
Are you guys on dating apps?
No.
Why not?
I don't like it to just judge on a picture.
Is that against the rules for you guys to be on dating apps?
No.
How did you guys meet?
In the game store.
Oh, it was the game store. Okay. And so you're asking why it's the way to go. I mean, would you at least concede that when it comes to STDs, monogamy is probably superior than open relationships?
STDs are,
sexually transmitted diseases?
Yeah, it's not stimulating, but if you cheat, you're doing that as well, right?
Yeah, but assuming there is no cheating.
Yes, then it's perfect. Then traditional is the way to go. Yeah.
Okay. So it is the way to go under that circumstance.
Yes.
But the STD argument isn't compelling enough for you.
I just don't see it at this time that there is a marriage without cheating or without divorce.
Okay. So why is monogamy the way to go, and then why is traditional life the way to go? So are you talking, when you say traditional life, you mean more traditional gender roles too?
I meant monogamy.
Oh, you're speaking strictly just about monogamy. Okay.
Yes, and traditional in the way of marriage, like
Okay.
with one man or woman.
Andrew, you have something on this?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand it completely. Maybe you can just rephrase it for me.
Well, so she's in her notes. She said, or she asked, why is monogamy, traditional life, the way to go? She is in a open relationship with her boyfriend, although
We suck at
they suck at it. So neither of them are cheating,
doing anything.
but they could. So
You
she's
mean
in.
yet? You haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, sex.
Yeah. Are
wise,
you gonna
no.
open it up with another girl or another guy? Another girl, right?
Me or him?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think they would do.
Well,
Would it be
either of you.
threesomes? Would you do threesomes?
We would be open to it, but yeah,
Yeah, with a guy or a girl though.
I think at first a girl.
Yeah, of course. It's always a girl. So, and then if you're opening up your relationship, was it his idea or your idea?
Both.
Yeah, okay. They always say both, but somebody had the original idea and brought it up. Which one of it? Which one was it, him or you?
I don't remember.
Really? That's a pretty pivotal conversation to not remember. You both just had the same epiphany. You were eating your Cheerios together and drinking coffee, and you both looked right at each other at exactly the same time. We're like, hey, I want to fuck other people. Like that, of course that didn't happen, right? So
No,
what happened was one of you brought it up, and you began to discuss it, right? So which one of you brought it up?
We started the relationship with the same vision.
So it was
Yeah, no,
never
but
closed.
one of you still brought it up.
No,
It was never
no,
closed from the get-go.
No.
It was never monogamous. Okay.
Yeah, so you met each other, and then over dinner or whatever,
Yes.
one of you still
that's
brought it
what
up.
happens.
Which one of you brought it up?
I don't know. One
You
of
don't
us
know.
brought it up, and the other one said, "Oh yeah, I'm like that as well."
Okay. So your intent is this the first time you've been in an open relationship?
No,
And how many other ones have you been in?
one.
And how come that one didn't work out?
I changed.
Did you cheat?
What does that
No.
What does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean? You changed?
I was at home a lot, and then after COVID, I didn't want to be anymore, and he wanted, so it didn't work.
Did you ever actually have other partners?
No, but he did.
He had. Oh, I see. He had other partners, and you broke up with him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, that's why it doesn't work. That's why it doesn't work.
So-
because the second the guy has another interest in another woman, that's why open relationships fail. By the way, 95% of the time, 95%. They have a 95% failure rate, and the other 5% are just waiting to be added to the 95%.
Go ahead.
Did you have a monogamous relationship before this one?
Yeah,
Did it end?
yeah,
Yeah, so it doesn't work either, right?
yeah. But that's not why it ended.
I didn't say that the
Yes, but
The open
conveniently
relationship
enough, anytime in those relationships that one partner begins to express interest in somebody who's external to the relationship, that relationship ends. Monogamous relationships, they end for different reasons. So while I'll grant logically to you that because there's a correlatory that both end, right, therefore we're on equal footing, that's not actually true, because the reason why it's reported that these end in the open relationship is because one partner expresses interest in another one.
Yeah, but I
Outside of
didn't.
the primary.
I did end the relationship, so, and he was with someone else during our relationship. So I don't know what you're saying. He didn't end
Yeah,
it.
I'm
I
just
ended it.
saying that conveniently enough, the most widely reported reason that open relationships end is because
Oh.
the man begins to find significant amounts of interest in a woman other than the one he's in the primary relationship with.
That could be, yeah. And if it's the relationship I have now, I have no problem with it, with breaking it up, because I'm not perfect and someone else can be for him.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That, I mean, that
Yeah.
makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We
But if
agree.
you want to know,
Okay.
if you want to know why monogamy is optimal, it's because it allows for every man to have a partner, every ugly man to have an ugly woman, and every beautiful man to have a beautiful woman. Right? It allows for that instead of allowing the beautiful women or beautiful men to absorb up all of the ugly and beautiful people. Right? Which is what you tend to see in hypergamous nations. So monogamy offsets this and creates the most stable societies that we have. That's why it's always been illegal. The United Nations is against it. They're pro-monogamy for just this reason. And generally, it's not a thing that we should promote inside of society. Now, if you're asking for a reason for why you shouldn't be monogamous from a secular standpoint, that's the only reason I can give you, because honestly, I just don't give a shit what secularists do, because it's all just based on some whim and preference. So.
I've nothing against monogamy, by the way. I think if it's what you agree on with your partner, it's beautiful.
Wait, is your boyfriend with you here?
No.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, on holiday, yeah, but he's not. Like,
What do you mean?
he's in town, but
No, but I mean, is he like, he came with you on this trip
yes.
to America?
Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay, cool. We have a couple chats. I'm gonna assign you as official chat reader. That's weird. Oh, Tiffany. Okay, Tiffany, you wrote in your notes you don't have a crazy dating story because you've never really dated around, but you do have hot takes. You say you should date within
Which one are you going to mention?
You should date within your culture and nationality.
Yeah.
What
you
is,
should.
so what do you mean?
Girl.
You should.
What and so when you
wait, wouldn't this prove that Super Chat are wrong about the white boyfriend?
wait, hold on just a sec here.
Okay.
Yo, Bob Evans, thank you for the gifted 20 memberships. Go ahead, Andrew. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, if that was the case, wouldn't that prove the Super Chat are wrong about a white boyfriend?
What do you mean prove him wrong?
Well, if you think you should only date within culture and nationality, right? Not a lot
I
of white
think-
Koreans running around, right?
No, as long as you're
Not a
assimilated
lot.
to the culture and you have the same nationality, like you don't have to be the same race.
How does a white person and an Asian person have the same nationality, though?
Your
Can you
passport?
scoot your mic
Yeah, your
to-
nationality
they
is
have
like
this-
your
can you
country.
Oh, your country. Scoot the mic.
What do you-
Go
to
ahead.
the corner, please.
What do you mean? Yeah, they would have this. You could be an Asian American and a white American. You would have the same nationality, right?
Well,
Why are you looking at me?
Are you
Yes,
asking
yes,
me?
we
I
just
think I got
established that.
confused with the
talking
difference
to her.
between ethnicity and nationality
Well, yeah.
was, but we got it.
I just don't
Wait, okay,
understand
so you
how
said-
a
No,
Asian person
nationality
and
is
a white
part of
person is the
ethnicity.
same.
No, it's not. You can be
Yes, it
ethnically
most
from one.
certainly is. It
You can be
100,000%
ethnic.
Can a
is
white
part of
person be
ethnicity.
Korean?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, but you can be ethnically something, and your
Wait, can
nationality
you-
can be different.
Yeah.
Hold on. Can you tilt your mic down a bit? And
Yeah, your
Oh, you're
ethnicity is
making-
different.
That's
No,
a
that's what you
category-
just said.
That's a
No.
category error.
You can be ethnically one thing, and your nationality can be from another place. Like two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, that's a category error. You're making a category error. So you're conflating racial characteristics with ethnicity. You can have an ethnicity absent race. So like American would be an ethnicity.
Okay.
I would think of as American as a nationality, and there's a lot of different
So
kinds of
what would be an
ethnicities that are
American-
Both things. It's
American.
both things.
If you're Native
Race
American.
can also be part of ethnicity.
They're not.
What?
But,
Let's-
but ethnicity is it's a broad stroke term, right? You could even say that independent family is an ethnicity. It just depends on how much you want to reduce it. But all ethnicity is pointing to is people groupings. That's it.
Well, okay,
So that could be grouped on nationality, race, whatever.
let's get a little clarification just to move things along here. You said you should date within your culture and nationality. So when you say culture, you mean what?
Culture, like
Okay, so what culture do you belong to?
just general like American culture.
Okay, and you said you should date within your nationality. So when you say nationality, you mean
Your passport.
like American.
Yeah.
So Americans should not date people from other countries.
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody living in America can date somebody else living in America, because that's the culture is broadly American, and the nationality is of course American.
Yeah.
So Americans can date Americans.
You should date within that.
That
that like spectrum, I guess.
So your hot take is that Americans
Well, I think
should date Americans?
no,
Is that
Americans
even a hot
shouldn't
take?
date like immigrants with a different passport. That's what I'm saying.
So, okay. So you're saying, okay, citizens of the United States
Mm-hmm.
should not date immigrants.
Or citizens
hot take is you have green
or
cards.
citizens
No
with
green cards.
who haven't assimilated to the
I didn't
culture.
say it.
So, okay.
I said it. I didn't.
By the way, Andrew, is this potentially TOS, you think? Or I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We're just talking about dating preferences.
Wait, so so if I was dating like a Mexican, no bueno.
I like the pun.
If well, depends like what kind of Mexican. If
A Mexican.
if she's like illegal.
She is a Mexican national. She's a Mexican national. Dwarf, no.
So she has a Mexico passport. Like a
Yeah,
Mexican
and
passport.
but she's here legally on a visa, but she's here legally. Would that be?
Well, I think you should date to marry. So
So you shouldn't marry anyone.
But
who's
you
not.
could make
Yeah,
her
you
an
shouldn't
American by
marry- you shouldn't
marriage. So,
marry-
But she would become a citizen if
That-
I were to marry her.
I know that's why.
Eventually, I
That's why
guess.
you shouldn't.
Because you don't want her to become a citizen.
Yeah.
So is
guess she's-
it
That's
people
the
that are from like not American or people who are in America not legally that you don't agree with?
It's both. It's Americans who haven't. It's people with an American passport who haven't assimilated, and people who
Okay.
have assimilated but don't have an American passport.
What if there was an immigrant from Korea and she has taken on the American culture and she's assimilated, but she's an immigrant illegally? Can I marry her?
No.
No. Okay, just checking.
So
What if she's a
you're-
dwarf and hot as fuck? What if she's
I mean,
not?
you could if you want to.
What
I
if
just
she's?
think you shouldn't.
Yeah, I shouldn't. What if she's not a dwarf and she's just like hot as fuck?
No.
wait, what is the reason though?
Yeah.
To create a homogenous society where there's no, it's like when you marry someone outside of your culture and nationality, you're kind of like diluting the culture like of your nation.
Do you know that this nation is founded off of immigrants?
So
My family was an immigrant, like granted a few generations back, but I think almost every single person in this room probably was an immigrant at some point, and that's what
There's a limit to that. I think if there's way too many immigrants coming in, this whole country's gonna lose its like identity.
So
I mean,
Because technically, this country was founded on white, like Christian values.
Okay, what about your boyfriend? If your boyfriend was an immigrant, would you still date him?
No.
So you do a passport check on dates.
Wait, is it TOS? Yeah, Andrew.
Now we've crossed the Rubicon.
Okay, yeah, Andrew, just tell me because you should just.
Yeah, now we've crossed into the. I mean, it's fine as it is, but now we've crossed into the Rubicon. But the idea here that you're promoting is just called cultural nationalism. It's just the idea that cultural homogeny is a thing which people generally strive towards. They want some type of. It has nothing to do with race at all. They're talking specifically about culture. So, for instance, let me give all of you an example. You can tell me if you agree or disagree. Japan has a distinct culture, and Japan has a distinct people group, and Japan wants to keep Japan Japanese. Can any of you think of a single problem with that?
I mean,
No.
I've been to Japan. I don't see any problem with the way that they
Right.
live.
That's the point.
But I don't think it's applicable to the United States.
Well, even whether you do or you don't, you're right. You couldn't say that if the United States had such a standard, it would be immoral, because the standard itself for Japan, you just conceded, is not. So that's the point, right? So this is the point of a cultural nationalist, are saying if you have a culture which you want to keep intact, like the Japanese don't. They only allow in a very, very, very tiny amount of immigrants into the nation. And, what's the argument for them not to do that? And there generally isn't one, really.
Isn't like the definition of racism discriminating against race and nationality?
You got to speak straight into the.
Isn't the definition of racism discriminating against race and nationality?
Yeah.
So, what's the difference?
Are you saying the Japanese are racist?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like.
Well, then what's the problem with them wanting to keep Japan Japanese?
No, I'm just saying like in America, I feel like that's
Yeah, no,
like.
but answer my question though. What's the problem with Japan wanting to keep Japan Japanese, even though their policy, by your definition, they would be racist, right? So what would the actual problem be?
I mean, I don't live in Japan, so I don't really like care what they do, but like.
I don't really know why that has anything to do with the question, though. Why do you need to live there in order to engage with the question itself?
Well, it doesn't affect me, but like I don't think it's.
Why does it matter?
Okay, I don't think it's a problem per se, but I just think I'm just making.
Yeah,
a
it's
point.
not. So you're basically saying that racism isn't a problem, right?
No,
That's
that's not what I'm
saying,
saying.
right?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just.
Well, okay, well then if it is the case that you're saying, if the Japanese are discriminating against non-Japanese people, that's racist, but you don't have a problem with that, then what else could you be saying other than racism is okay? I don't get it.
Okay. Well. Okay. I just don't want to smoke with Japan, but I'm just saying like. I'm just making a point. I'm just making a point. You know what? I'm just making a point.
She don't want the beef.
I do not want.
Does not want that Wagyu.
No, I do not want any beef with that country. So I'm just making a point. I'm just saying. I'm just saying the definition of racism. That's all I'm saying.
That's
Call
And
me-
would they fit that definition? If they wanted to keep Japan Japanese, would they fit that definition?
I don't want smoke with Japan, but
She doesn't want.
Yeah, I get it, but would they fit the definition?
Do you want smoke with Thailand?
no, I love Thai food.
Would they?
You know what? I
I
digress.
think that a different example than Japan would be like a lot of the Gulf states in the Middle East. Their citizenship is extremely exclusive and only offered to people who are born there and proven to be, that ethnically. So like you look at places like Kuwait or Qatar where they have
Or
more.
Israel?
Yeah, where there's more foreign nationals living there without a passport than there are actual citizens of the country, which just creates like a very strange dichotomy, I think, to think that there's more like, that would be like if there's more non-Americans living in America than Americans? I don't know. It's just like a strange thing and generally...
I don't understand. How is it a false dichotomy? They're literally saying, we don't want people groups other than ours here.
No, they're saying
Yes.
everybody... No. Because they're allowing more people than citizens of their own country
As long as it's underneath the threshold of the majority.
No, it's
So as long
not.
as the
No, I think you should do your research a little bit
I'm
because
talking, okay, so using the Japanese example.
I'm
here,
talking about
they
the Middle
literally
Eastern
are. Yeah,
example
I know
that
you
I
are.
just
You switched
provided.
the subject. You created the false dichotomy. So the thing is like, if the Japanese people say, we want our nation to be 99% or 98% Japanese, right? And that is their official policy. Is that a racist policy?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's subjective to whoever thinks, I don't know.
How is it subjective? That's their official policy. There's nothing subjective. It's literally objective. The official policy is the majority of Japan is to stay Japanese. That's the official policy.
But Japanese is not a race. So they're not
Wait.
discriminating against
Okay.
race.
Oh, okay. So the Japanese rule out everybody who doesn't look like an Asian Japanese person.
No,
out.
who
So
is
they're
not a
they're not letting
Japanese
in
person.
A bunch of white people and then claiming that they're Japanese because they now have Japanese citizenship. They're not doing that.
Okay.
Wait, can anyone not be a citizen in Japan?
No, you can't.
You can't.
They
No.
only take X amount of immigrants per year to make sure that it stays Japanese.
Okay.
Cultural nationalism seems to fit in a lot better with smaller countries that are more homogenous. And in the United States, we have a lot of cultural pluralism, and that's what makes this idea of cultural nationalism not quite fit when your passport says USA.
Yeah.
what she said.
Well, okay, I could refute that pretty easy, but I'm not gonna dive into it for purposes of YouTube TOS. But the thing is I would still like an answer to this question, right? If the Japanese say we want like 95% of our country to always remain Japanese, right? And Japanese, the criteria is you genetically have to be tied to the Japanese race by X threshold, and will only take X amount of immigrants who are not genetically tied to that demographic. That certainly sounds racial to me. Yeah?
It is a little bit, but I don't want smoke with Japan, so I'm not going to say that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just let it go there, I guess.
Okay. So, but you're saying like a white American can date an Asian American, a black American can date a white American?
Yeah.
Okay. You said men should always pay for dates?
Yeah.
Okay. Who here at the table agrees? Should men always pay for dates? So, no.
I think they should,
should
but
pay.
that doesn't mean I won't sometimes.
Sometimes, like once. Okay.
Like, but it's not for their lack of trying. It's because I want to.
Okay. And then going back to Tiffany, you also said, maybe we'll come back to the paying for dates thing later, but you said you shouldn't get married if you don't plan to have children. Not much there to really discuss. I don't know if you want to elaborate or... Basically, you shouldn't have kids out of wedlock.
There's not really a point.
You're scooting to the mic, please.
There's no point in dating.
Okay. Now, this is a hot one. You said people who don't speak English should date outside of America.
Yeah.
To anywhere?
It's the same thing. It's like cultural homogeneity. It's like English is what like makes America America, you know?
So can they date anybody that speaks another language or only their same language?
Like if they're bilingual.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Bilingual.
As long as they can communicate with each other.
What
in
about two
English.
Spanish speakers who don't speak English in America? They should date each other.
They should go back to their own country.
Is
Yeah,
that your
learn
value?
English.
That they should speak? They should both speak at least the same language.
That they should both speak English.
Yeah, I don't know why that's even problematic. Like, that just makes total sense to me. If you're going to live in a country and immigrate to it, you should speak the language of the country. That just makes sense.
Like if I went to Japan, I can't just be like, motherfuckers, you should speak English.
No, I mean, many nations have this as a litmus test. Like, you can't move to the nation unless you can prove that you can speak the language of the nation, because otherwise you become dependent. You become a dependent. You now are consuming state resources. That's problematic, right?
Yeah. Wait, so you said people who don't speak English should date outside of America. So they should. So like Spanish speakers.
Yeah, wherever they're from. If they're from Spain, go date in Spain, where they speak Spanish.
Are you thinking of another country that
or Mexico?
Speaks there, okay.
Yeah.
That's where I thought you were going with that.
Well, I am pretty sure they speak Spanish in Spain.
They do
right?
speak Spanish. No, they do. There's not a lot of Spanish illegal immigrants.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're mostly Hispanic. That's true.
Yeah. No, but like from Spain.
Spaniards.
Like Spaniards.
Yeah, that's why I said Hispanic and not Spaniard.
Yeah. You also said only men should make decisions for the family, however, in the best interest of his wife and kids and not himself.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
I think that the nuclear family structure is the strongest backbone of a society.
Mm-hmm.
And the man is supposed to be a provider and a protector, so it's like right that he makes the decision for his family.
What about in same-sex couple households?
I don't believe in gay marriage.
You have a reaction to that? Go ahead.
Based. Well, I'm sorry. That was
Go
a lot.
ahead. Go ahead. Here, can you scoot your chair into the table?
Yeah. Every time I talk, I come closer. She's.
Yeah, but you just strain your mic too, please. It's like pointing at the moon. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. That was a very natural reaction of mine to I don't believe in gay marriages. It just cancels the love of some people and there would be no other love for those, and it's just not the statement that I would ever make out loud or in my head as well. But I mean, it has, and it's not because it has something to do with me, even though I did experience the same-sex relationship and it wasn't for me. It's just, yeah, as soon as I heard it, I was very uncomfortable thinking about the people who are happy in this relationship and that will stay together till the end of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, she said marriage, not love, though.
Yes.
So
Okay, marriage.
But marriage is
Okay.
like love, is a sign of love,
So
Do you need is the state required to be married?
or like a ceremony.
Yeah. Do
Do you
people
need the state
usually
to be married?
Huh?
Wait, I have a question
Is
for you.
the state required to be married? Do you need the state to be married?
No.
Well, if you don't need the state to be married, then I don't understand why gay people couldn't get married even if the state didn't recognize a marriage. I don't get that.
You would need the state
A
to
legal
recognize
marriage?
your marriage.
You don't need the
Well,
state to
for a legal
recognize it.
marriage,
Why?
but you don't need to have
Sure.
a legal marriage. You can
Yeah,
have
you don't.
commitment ceremony. You can have a marriage in church. So,
Yeah.
and to be fair,
If we
she
have
did say
established that
love.
the
She's
state
not
doesn't
saying
need to
that
be
any
involved in-
relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Usually.
So then you're just calling
Yeah.
it marriage without the sacrament or the certificate. You're just calling it marriage.
Well, the sacrament is religious, and as you know, might note, the religious sacrament of marriage excludes what particular group?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, necessarily. None of the
I'm a Catholic,
religions that
that's
have
not
it as
true.
a sacrament,
That's
a
not true.
sacrament.
wait, you're a
Yeah,
Catholic
name
and
one.
what?
Yes, I'm a
Name one.
Catholic, and that's
You're-
not true.
Wait, what's not
Yeah,
true?
it is true in the Catholic Church. Official Catholic doctrine is that LGBTQ marriage is not allowed. That's
I
the
said
official
I'm a Catholic, but
doctrine.
did I say that that's the all Christian doctrine? No, I
Yeah,
just
but
said I
that's
personally am a Catholic, so I'm familiar
Then-
with how Christians.
Are you aware of sacraments then? That Christians have sacraments? She said a sacrament. Marriage is a sacrament to the Catholic Church. It's a sacrament to the Orthodox Church. The churches which will marry LGBTQ people don't see marriage as a sacrament. They don't do sacramental marriage.
Okay.
Set up the split.
So I'd like to note, right, you do recognize that the church excludes this group from marriage. You recognize that that's true, right?
I'm not. I guess they as a sacrament, but I do know that there are churches that will marry gay couples.
Yeah, but
Maybe
would
perhaps not called a sacrament.
Yeah, you would agree with me.
To me, the
that
word
any-
I didn't know sacrament is specific to.
Well, you take communion, right? In
Yeah.
Catholic Church.
Yes.
What is that?
I understand that that's a sacrament, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's a
I
sacrament.
thought sacrament was like a holy practice. I thought that could be applicable to any church.
You can
Excuse
call
me.
it a sacrament, I guess, but what makes it that? So this is where the argument goes, right? Would you agree with me that somebody could worship Satan but ID themselves as a Christian? They could self-ID that way. They could say, I'm a Christian,
Well, you could
even though they
self-ID
worship
yourself
Satan.
as whatever you want, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So you can self-ID as whatever you want, but it doesn't make you that thing. So we have to have specific criteria for what makes you that thing. So the Catholics are going to believe that they are the true church. The Orthodox believe that they are the true church, right?
Yeah.
So they're excluding these groups as being Christians based around self-ID. And I think that that's totally reasonable, but they definitely exclude LGBTQ from marriage.
Okay.
So you think gay people should date or shouldn't date?
They could if they want to, but I mean, I'm just saying that gay marriage isn't a thing because marriage has an objective definition.
What?
Bring it back to the original thing, though.
What original thing?
That with the husbands, but it should be for
That the man should be making those decisions.
Oh,
man should be making decisions, but for the benefit of the
Family.
wife and children, not him.
well, yeah, I said that because when people say only like when the trad guys say like, oh, I only get to make decisions in my family, it sounds kind of like dictator vibes, you know, but that's not what really is about, you know.
Andrew,
What's it about?
It's not about being kind of like prideful and arrogant and making decisions because like you're the only smart one in the household or you're the only competent one. You just make decisions in the best interest of your family.
Yeah, but who gets to determine what's in the best interest of your family?
The guy.
Okay, so then I don't really understand the circular logic here. How could he be doing anything which is prideful or et cetera, unless you are the one who's telling him that if he's the one in charge of the family?
No, I'm saying like other kind of like left-leaning people kind of hear it that way when trad guys claim that.
Well, I disagree with your assessment, and forgive me. I'll steel man it first to make sure that I have it correct, so that I'm not mischaracterizing your position. But I believe that your position here is to say that a man is a sacrifice for his family. Because of that, he is the leader of the family, but that's due to the self-sacrifice for the family, not that he's the leader and he should be leading for himself. He should only be leading for the family, right?
What do you mean leading for himself?
Well, that's what I don't understand. What is the man in the relationship here? He's the leader.
The leader.
But you say his criteria for leadership is self-sacrifice.
Part of it, yes.
Okay. So I don't understand that part of the position.
I think God just gave men the role of leadership. Women
okay, so
make
it's
sacrifices
not for the purpose
within
of
their...
self-sacrifice?
Well, they have to sacrifice.
Yeah, they have to sacrifice, right? But
Yeah.
they have to take care of themselves first, right? Because otherwise, how could they sacrifice to anybody else? So, like, how can a man, for instance, take care of his family if he's not also putting his own needs and welfare to the forefront as well? How could they even do that?
What's an example of like putting
Work.
himself first?
Work. So let's take, for instance, work is sacrificial, right? But he's gonna need to have plenty of R&R time, plenty of relaxed time. He's gonna have to be taking care of himself as well. And part of the obligation, duty of leadership is also putting your needs. I think that you have it backwards. I think a man actually does have to put his needs first in order to make those sacrifices for his family.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's like in the long term, it's beneficial for his family.
Right, exactly. So,
Yeah.
so ultimately, I think that the man does need to have his needs come up first and foremost. Otherwise, he can't take care of anybody else. How could he?
Yeah.